Hello. Welcome to our 7th episode of Okay, Karen.
Okay, Karen.
All right. We are doing tonight is 80s night. Woo, woo. Notice this is the most 80s shirt I own. Betsy's shirt. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. And your side ponytail looking good.
My hair is my most 80s accessory that I own. And unlike the Real Housewives or Selling Sunset, this is all my hair.
Oh, yeah. This is all my hair, too.
We are ready for the 80s.
We are so excited. So there are so many movies in the 80s. I mean, we just thought if we really did all the movies from the 80s, it would be like our first episode, a hot mess. We'd be all over the place.
It'd be like 5 hours to actually go through everything.
Yes. Because you have everything from like the Gremlins to Top Gun to Dirty Dancing to what's the one, Poltergeist. I mean, there's everything in so many genres. So what we decided, let's just pick John Hughes movies. And you should know them, people. These are great movies.
Great movies.
So let's start.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Do we need to give some shout outs?
Yeah, we do.
I think so. I need to shout out someone. I need to shout out my mama.
Yes, you do.
She has, hey mama. She's going to love that, Betsy. She is watching us on YouTube because she doesn't understand what we're doing. So mom set up her iPad and let her watch us, and she thinks we're big deals now. I mean, I've always known we're pretty big deals, but mama now thinks we're a big deal.
And I love that. I love that.
Yes.
We have multi-generational. We have down to your cousins, your nieces.
Yes, the nieces.
All the way to your mama. And just chatting with Angela and Betsy.
That's right. So I think that's my big one is mama. Do you have any you need to shout out?
No. I mean, yes, because
of
course people love, I'm so happy that people watch us and are interested. My sister, of course, I think she'll enjoy this episode.
Our rock star.
Our number one fan, Jenny. Keep it up, Jenny. Commenting. We love our fans that comment. So
we love reading those comments
on YouTube. And also, tell us what you want to hear about. Do you want to hear some personal stories, from when we were younger, or do you want to hear like whatever you're interested in hearing us talk about? Most likely we'll do it. Talk about it.
We'll do it.
Shout out to us, whatever you're interested in. If you want to hear a certain 30-minute movie, we did a 30-minute movie, Dirty Dancing, went through the whole movie in 30 minutes. If you're interested in that for a movie, then let us know.
Now, my mom said that wasn't her favorite. She said, because I've seen Dirty Dancing. So you didn't tell me anything I haven't seen. Whoa, Karen. So, but my friend Leslie, who's only seen Dirty Dancing once, was like, thanks. I don't need to see it again because I just felt like I watched it with y'all. Thank you. So we may do some other movies like that.
Sure.
But I do need to give a shout out. We need to shout out Amber Romano Ladner now.
Yes.
Because she was texting us saying how much she loves it. So, and it's just a good break from her day and her 4 kids. Whew, that's a lot. So shout out Amber. Thanks for following us.
And there's one more.
Oh.
Maybe he doesn't follow or maybe does. We don't know for sure, but I think that he's listening. Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown,
I haven't never met you, but I feel honored that you have listened to at least 1 or 2 of our podcasts. So keep it up. Even if you don't want to tell anyone that you listen to us, that's okay. We're
fine.
Secret fans. So
he's the one that said, if you do an 80s one, it could be 5 hours long. Yeah. And then we started like looking at all the movies.
He's even giving us advice.
Yes.
Great.
Wonderful. We love it. Thank y'all.
Okay. So let's get started.
Okay. Let's get going.
So we're specifically talking about John Hughes movies from the 80s. Okay. So he has more other decades. We're just looking at 1980s. And there's a couple that we haven't seen. Starting off, number 1, we didn't even know this existed. 1982 was National Lampoon's Class Reunion. Never heard of it. Never seen it.
No. Don't know what it's about. I think that might not have done well or good. I don't know the correct English there. Because Chevy Chase isn't in it. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Is he even in it? I don't know.
We know nothing about this movie.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. In 1982.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, don't know about it.
All right, hold on. So we'll just go past that one. If you have heard of it, if you've seen it, please let us know. Let us know what you think. Is it a good movie?
Leslie, have you seen it?
Yeah.
She's my movie buff that I go to for everything.
Okay. So moving right along to 1983, we have Mr. Mom, which I really enjoyed.
Oh,
I have not seen it as an adult.
I don't think I have seen it as an adult either. As a kid and teenager, I liked it. It is with let me get my notes out, people, because we just don't come on here on the fly. We prepare. Mr. Mom is with Michael Keaton and Terry Garr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's her name. The mom.
She was big in the 80s and 90s.
She was, yeah. and then nothing else. I don't even know if she's alive.
Okay.
So what it is a husband and wife, and I think he loses his job. So then they both are looking for a job. Well, she gets a job before he does. So they decide, she says, I'm going to go to work. And he says, fine, I'll stay home and take care of our 3 kids. And that's not what he's used to. So it is funny about him taking care of the kids. He doesn't know how to do the morning breakfast routine, the lunch routine, clean the house. There's a really funny scene. Do you remember with him playing with poker with the other moms? Do you remember that scene?
No, I don't remember that. I need to rewatch the movie. Because I bet as adults, we would, there's probably other stuff in there that we didn't catch because we were so young.
Oh, I'm sure.
So as adults, we probably, so I'm going to mark that as one I need to rewatch because I probably haven't seen it in, 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, I'm sure. I do remember the creepy boss. Do you remember him though? He kept hitting on the mom, and Michael Keaton was like, I just really don't like him. And she's like, oh, he's fine. But he was making moves on her. I remember that. And then it ends happy. It's a happy ending.
It's an interesting part to remember.
Yeah. It's through the whole movie when she's doing her, working, he's constantly hitting on her somehow.
Okay.
I just remember that.
Okay.
All right.
83, we start something that people have heard of for sure. National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh, the one. I was going to say the first one, but obviously there was one in 82 we didn't know about.
Yeah. So for us, this is the first. This is the original.
This is the original. This is where we meet the Griswolds, and it's Clark. That's played by Chevy Chase. And then his wife is Ellen, played by Beverly D'Angelo. Did you know Beverly D'Angelo had twins with Al Pacino? That's just a side note, people.
I didn't know
Did
that.
You know that, though? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move along.
Sorry, what do you want to say anything about this movie?
Okay, I'm getting there. The son. This is where we also meet Anthony Michael Hall. He's the son.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he's going to come through other movies of John Hughes. So that's interesting.
Yeah, what he likes. He likes him, Anthony.
He does. We also meet Cousin Eddie, and that's played by Randy Quaid, who's probably one of the grossest characters. Is gross? Do you think? Would you go gross?
Yeah, you could say that for sure.
He's just gross. And we meet him for the first time. So when I was researching this, Harold Ramis directed this. John Hughes wrote it. Do you know who Harold Ramis is?
No.
Yes, you do. He's Egon in the Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I know him.
Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah. So he directed this. I like this movie.
Did he direct the other National Lampoons?
No, just this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the movie?
No,
I feel like I'm talking.
No, it's fine because I don't remember as much about this as you do, and
so
you have some information. they feel like this is really like the age of where
Oh.
screwball comedies are
Mm-hmm.
starting to come
Oh, for
into
sure.
their own, because you do see every once in a while before the 80s maybe a really random one, but this is like, I think when they start just kind of doing these over the top movies that are just kind of ridiculous humor starts coming out, you know what I mean?
Right. This is
And
the movie where Chevy Chase is driving down the road and Chrissy Brinkley comes up in the car.
Mhm.
You know, his whole family sleeping. They're going to Wally World, which I guess is kind of similar to Disney World. And it's just one bad thing after another. At cousin Eddie's house, they take one of the aunts who the dog dies, the aunt ends up dying. I mean, it is literally one bad thing after another. Then when they get to Wally World, it's closed. So Chevy Chase, the security guard, is John Candy, who we will see him in a bunch of other John Hughes movies. And Chevy Chase pulls a gun on him. And the mom is so funny. Ellen, she's
I had
like,
forgotten that, so you said it.
she said, I don't even know where he got the gun. I am so sorry. And then they ride all the rides and make the security guard, John Candy, ride the rides with him because he's going to get, call the cops if he doesn't. So it's just, it's funny. It's a good movie. I can't believe if you've never seen it, obviously put it on your list because it's such a classic.
Yeah. Or if you haven't seen it in a long time, like I have, then you should watch it.
My brother loves the scene where they get in a wreck in the desert. So Chevy Chase walks through the desert and the family stays by the car and they don't see him for a long time. And it's a funny scene. He loves it when he comes up on his family finally and he's like, oh, I'm thirsty. Are y'all thirsty? Because he's been in a desert walking for who knows how long. But it's a funny movie. It's like I said, it's a classic.
Okay. So all right, so we're still in 1983, and there is another one. This is the second one that Angela and I had not heard of, which is Nate and Hayes, which is the original title. And then it goes by Savage Islands. This is
don't know either of them.
1800s, like pirates and islands. We don't know anything about the movie.
It sounds kind of okay, but and Tommy Lee Jones is in it, which is weird.
But what was Tommy Lee Jones doing at that time? Nothing, I don't think.
Nothing.
I don't think he was well known. So this could be like a role for him that nobody else would take because I don't think anybody knew who he was then. Unless people know Tommy Lee Jones in 1983.
I don't know when Tommy Lee Jones. I thought it was like the 90s that he came on
I did too.
like really came on the scene because he was to me he was an older actor when he came on. He didn't start off really young.
Yes, I agree.
If y'all know this movie,
that one,
just let us know because we definitely don't know it. Sorry.
And I'm not actually interested in seeing it.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so now we're in 1984, and we start to see some angsty teen movies coming out from John Hughes. The first one being 16 Candles. Woo! We got a star-filled cast on this one, although they weren't all well known at that time. They are big names. Take it away, Angela.
And I think everyone knows Jake Ryan.
Not the actor, because he didn't do anything else, I don't think.
No. Yeah, I don't know his name. I went to look at his name. I was like, I don't know him.
But I know
you know Jake Ryan. Yes. And then the girl is Molly Ringwald. Her name in the movie was Samantha. And then this Anthony Michael Hall is back in this movie. He plays the nerd. Yeah, I'd say a nerd.
Yeah.
So it's her.
I think King of the Dorks or something.
And he's a dork in a lot of movies. Bless his heart. Yeah. But now as he's aged, he's gotten not less dorkier. So we'll say I'll throw that out. So it's Molly Ringwald's 16th birthday. 16 Candles.
There you go.
And her sister's getting married. So that kind of overshadows her birthday. And then she also really likes
it. Like her parents forget
her
16th birthday. They didn't even say anything. They totally forgot it was her birthday.
Yeah, didn't even say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have kids, but I think I would remember giving birth to a child.
Yeah, I think it would be like, I mean, maybe like the night before you're like, oh crap, we didn't get a gift. But like, I mean, every year when that day rolls around in that month, or even when the date was chosen for the sister's wedding,
See, that's my thing.
I'd be like,
Wouldn't you have
oh,
said,
look,
oh,
the day
it's right
before is Samantha's
her
birthday.
birthday? Yeah. I mean, I know like plenty of cousins and aunts and uncles' birthdays off the top of my head. So if you give me a date, I'm going to say, oh, it's around this person's birthday.
Yeah.
And the parents don't know that? Anyway.
Okay, so her parents forget her birthday. She's all, she does play a good 16-year-old. Like, she looks 16.
Yeah.
The way she views the world
Naive.
is like a 16-year-old. So that,
the
I like
poutiness.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good. So tell her about Jake Ryan.
Falling in love with a guy that she's never actually spoken to. That seems about right for 16-year-old.
Which is Jake Ryan.
Which is Jake Ryan. So Jake Ryan is basically the most popular guy in the school. He's taken, I mean, really taken. That's what her best friend says, because he has a long-time girlfriend who's like a senior and beautiful,
popular.
So, she ends up writing in a note to someone, like this quiz Samantha does, Molly Ringwald. It says, who would you do it with if you were going to do it with somebody? And she says, Jake Ryan. And then
would you ever do that? No.
She passes the note to what she thinks is her best friend, but she drops it on the floor, and guess who gets it? Jake Ryan, of course. So Jake Ryan gets it, and then he's kind of curious, like, who is this girl? Like, she's
because he doesn't even know her name.
No, she's different than anyone else I've dated, and he's just kind of curious, and he says he's looking for more in a relationship than just sex. Okay. So
because you're in high school,
yeah. So then they throw a big party, and lots of drinking, lots of politically incorrect stuff.
This movie I don't think would even get made now.
No,
it's just too. It's the part where they're taking advantage of a girl that's drunk.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, he's like, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, she's pretty much passed out, and like, oh, okay, look, yeah. So that's not cool. There's lots of things. There's like drunk driving. There's like politically incorrect, calling people like bullying, calling just names you should
making fun of the Asian descent guy.
Yes, the
forgot his name.
Girl. They're making fun of the handicapped girl. I mean, there's a lot. So so there's a lot of things like that were in the 80s, unfortunately, and I didn't notice when I was young as much, and now I watch it, I'm like, oh my god.
No. Now I'm like, the other thing is so bad.
Be aware that although it is PG, it would not be PG now if it were coming out, because there's frontal nudity. I mean, among other things, other issues that there is in this movie. But at the time, they only had G, PG, and R. The PG-13 rating didn't exist.
Look at you throwing us some good advice.
Yeah.
Good, whatever.
The PG-13 rating was created a year or two after this movie. So, because I remember when I was young, we were at my cousin's house, and I asked Mom if we could watch it, and she was like, what's it rated? And I said PG, and she goes, okay, that's fine. And then I remember being in the room and being like, this is not fine, but I'm not going to tell my mom. I'm going to watch it anyway.
And you weren't lying. It was PG.
I did not lie, but I also feel like, my mom.
You shouldn't have been watching it, probably.
Because I was young. I mean, that was 1984. So I think I was very, very young. Although they had a VHS tape, so it was a few years after 1984 at least.
I was about to say, I didn't watch it that young. I was probably 88, 89 when I watched it. Maybe 87.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so that's 16 Candles, and I think this is the first movie from Molly Ringwald. At least the first one that's well known, and she's in
right. And then she just took off from there.
Yes, she did. Okay, especially because of John Hughes. I think he really helped her a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Rolling right into 1985, we have another Molly Ringwald and some great stars in this movie with The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club, y'all. This is still
movies here.
Yes, and this movie, I mean, it's quoted in so many other movies. Pitch Perfect mentions The Breakfast Club. They do that song, "Don't You Forget About Me." I'm so bad at singing, so
Karen.
I don't. It's too much.
Okay.
But so we have a cast. and the cast tells their story. They're all in detention. You have the jock, Emilio Estevez. You have the princess, Molly Ringwald. You have the rebel, is Judd Nelson. The brain is Anthony Michael Hall again. And then the outcast, that's the girl, Ali Sheedy. And the only thing, she's like wearing all black. I remember the scene where they're in the detention, the principal's watching them, and they have to write, yes, and they just sit there all day. And in one scene, the outcast is doing her hair like this and making it snow her dandruff. And I was like,
on a drawing she did. Yeah.
Yes.
She doesn't speak. She says no words for most of the movie. No. She does a great job with it. And I don't
because it's total attitude too.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Ali Sheedy a lot before this. And then she takes off too. Everything in this movie takes off.
Right. Movies. Very much so. She also at the very end kind of converts to like this, wearing this light pink, because she was all black, wearing all black before. I remember that about her.
Yes.
And it just is, this movie, they kind of really find themselves, but also, hey, my life isn't as bad as I thought my life was. Because they all have different problems, you know? And one thinks, oh, you don't have problems. I really have problems. So it opens their eyes to really, you know, the kind of the world.
Yeah. I think it definitely opens them up too. So it's kind of a coming of age. It's also like these movies with John Hughes we see are kind of like, I think the teenage ones are movies that are geared towards teenagers about teenage life, which I don't think we've seen a lot before the 80s. That it's really not about like the parents that are parents of teenagers or things like that. It's about them and their life and their struggles. And, you know, there are coming of age movies before this, but they are, I don't know, it's just done differently. Like he does it he pushes the envelope. With how they are.
Because they also, I mean, if you remember, it's divorce is brought up, and back then divorce wasn't a huge thing. Abuse is brought up in several of theirs, alcohol. So that's, I think too, where you're saying like pushes the envelope on these kids, basically, you know?
Well, and even if you look at the role of the authority, I don't know how often we see movies where the authority like is critiqued and judged, not only their parents, but you know, the administration of the school, the janitor, even like everybody is kind of like, it's a different way of viewing that, you know? And you start to see that I don't remember seeing it before these type of movies in the 80s. So, but so I really like The Breakfast Club a lot. I think the characters are well written, the story is really good, and it is an interesting dynamic that you have an hour and a half, 2-hour movie of 6 kids sitting in detention in a library.
It's 5. I think it's 5. Yeah. And also it kind of holds up, you know, play it today. It's okay for people to watch. I mean, it's, you know, if you haven't seen The Breakfast Club, go see it.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So that's our second Molly.
And that was huge. Yeah.
Huge. Do you want to continue going in chronological order here?
I think we're doing great. Okay, whatever you want to do.
So let's go on. So that was 1985. Also in 1985, we have National Lampoon's European Vacation. Angela?
So it's basically the same cast as the National Lampoon's Vacation. They're in Europe. There you go.
Same type movie. Crazy things happen. Funny.
What if something could go bad or wrong, it's going to happen. Chevy Chase is really funny in it. It's not my favorite Lampoon's movie, but it's pretty good.
Okay. I don't think it probably wasn't as well received as the first one at the time. And even now, people don't watch it as the other one. So unless you're a huge National Lampoon fan, you probably don't really care that much about this one. Right. So we're going to just go right on for the sake of time. So in 1985, also, we're on our third John Hughes movie, 1985. is Weird Science, a little
So John
known
Hughes
19
was making some money in 1985.
Yes.
I
You
liked Weird
I
Science.
did too, but here's the thing. I bet especially our younger listeners have
Oh,
never even
never heard of it. No.
which is unfortunate because
Yeah,
it's a funny
it
teenage
is.
movie. There's not, I don't think, a whole bunch of like, deep thought that went into it, or you're going to get
No.
out of it. Unlike Breakfast Club, I think there was. This one's
Right.
fun. The storyline is we have two kind of dorky boys.
Yes,
And
one is Anthony Michael Hall again, and then another guy that his name's Wyatt in the movie, and I don't know if he was ever in it anything else.
I know,
So
and I
I
wish
didn't
he
even write his
was
name down.
because I
I
had a
know because
crush on him.
I kind of did too. Out of those two
He
dorks,
was
he
just
was my
he was
favorite
sweet.
dork.
Yes, he was
Yeah,
my favorite
yeah,
dork. He was like, wanted to do the right thing and was like a good guy, and he was
yes.
cute. So,
And he had in the movie, his brother was Chet,
mhm,
and that was played by Bill Paxton, who is passed away.
mhm.
Bill Paxton was in Twister also, but his character, Bill Paxton, so rude,
Yeah,
so mean. He
he
would
was a
just,
bully, older brother.
yes,
Yeah.
and it just made me so mad.
So these two nerdy best friend guys, they're in high school, younger high school, maybe like sophomores, and they
Yeah,
create one night. They're very much into their computer and different things,
right.
and they Frankenstein a living perfect woman. Okay,
Yeah, and
do you know the
creator like
actress name?
choose her name is Kelly LeBrock. She's actually married to Steven Seagal at one time.
Oh,
They're
okay.
divorced. Yeah.
And she was
But
different things.
they create everything. Her hair, her boobs, her everything, her eye color, everything they create. And she just
Right.
comes to life.
But they aren't expecting that she's really like, she starts pushing them and she's like, look,
Oh yeah.
you need to stand up for yourself. If you want to get a girl, you need to do this. Like, so she just starts kind of running their life and they're chasing
Bossing them
like,
around.
like, so there
Yeah.
some chaotic thing starts happening because she makes them step out of their comfort zone. She throws a big party at their house. She also has capabilities, kind of just like magic capabilities.
Yeah, that was kind of
Finger
weird.
and this happens, and you're like,
Right.
I mean, at the time I watched the movie, I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense. Make any sense?
But remember, she like froze the grandparents.
Yes, and put them in a cupboard.
Yeah, but just put the grandparents and the grandma's face was,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so all kinds of craziness happens. This is not a realistic movie in any way. If you
no.
like movies that are like far-fetched and could never happen, then you're not gonna like this.
Yeah.
I have not seen this in quite a long time. I have a feeling that it probably has a lot of politically incorrect stuff in it as well.
I'm sure.
That we did.
And I wonder if we would like it as much now as we did back then. Or would we just be like, we must have been so desperate back then.
Yes, I think I'd watch it again. I'd be like, this is pretty bad.
Yeah, probably.
I
wonder if Sean has heard of this, your husband.
Probably not. I should make him watch it. If I'm going to watch it again, I'll be like, hey, you want to watch this movie? He's always curious about the movies that I have seen and he hasn't, because there's so few that when we watch one, I made him watch So I Married an Axe Murderer. Have you seen that one?
Yes, with Michael Myers.
Yeah, with Mike Myers. And
Mike Myers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his real name is probably Michael, so you're not wrong. And he liked it, and I was so happy because I'm like, there's a movie I've seen and you haven't. He really liked it. So, but they're pretty few and far between when we come
right,
because
he's a big movie buff.
Yeah.
But ask him about this.
Okay.
So 1985, big year.
86.
But
I'm gonna let you take this one, Angela.
People, 86 is Pretty in Pink. I love Pretty in Pink. I don't love it as much as I don't love it as much as Dirty Dancing, but I still love Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
It has a song, If You Leave Me. Do you know that? So that's a big song. Characters are Andy, played by Molly Ringwald again.
This is the last of her trilogy.
Yes. Blaine, played by Andrew McCarthy. Ducky, played by John Cryer. And Steph, which is a boy, played by James Spader. And James Spader is in Blacklist, which is kind of out now. But the premise of this movie, you have a girl that's kind of poor, lives on the wrong side of the track, poor side of the track. You have a guy, sounds like an Avril Lavigne song, that is popular, lives on the rich side of the track. Yes, yes. Lives on the rich side of the track. She likes him, he likes her. See, Skater Boy song. Anyway, I'll stop there. Because my mom's gonna be like, what are you even talking about? Anyway, sorry, Mom. But, you know, I mean, she's poor, he's rich, she works, he doesn't have to, country club. But they do get together. And then, you know, when he takes her out for the first time, she's dressed up kind of like a grandma, don't you think?
You just gotta talk about how she dresses and like her
house. Oh, so she makes her own clothes, which good for her. I know some other people that have done their own clothes, but yours are actually fashionable. Hers were just one outfit. She has like one earring on and one that's like one dangly earring and one stud earring. Y'all don't do that. Don't.
I think maybe in the 80s it could be taken, some of her stuff could be taken as cool, because the 80s is definitely like Punky Brewster, like really kind of, you know, off the wall kind of stuff.
Right.
But then if you're going to do that, you got to have the attitude to go with it. And she did not have enough, her skin was thick enough to go out into a party scene with Rich Boy wearing her grandma clothes.
And one girl actually says, because she has long pearls on, and I like pearls. I'm not wearing them on a first date probably, but with that other whole outfit, yes. Yeah. But one girl's like, oh, did you get those pearls from your grandma? You know, really hurt her feelings. So the couple, Andy and Blaine, try to make it through because he doesn't feel comfortable in her crowd. She doesn't feel comfortable in his crowd. We should just break up. Again, we're still in high school. Ducky is her best friend that absolutely adores her. And she's not nice to Ducky sometimes.
He makes it very obvious the whole time that he's
very much so.
Yeah. And she just kind of like drags him along. And I'm like, no, he can't be your best friend if you know he's in love with you and you don't like him. Like that doesn't work.
Right.
That's not fair. So I don't like that part of the movie because I feel bad for Ducky.
For Ducky.
He's a good guy.
And even at the very end, when she's been mean to Ducky, and she says, you know, I'm going to go to prom because Blaine said, I already asked someone else. Sorry, I forgot. Liar. And she says, fine, I'm going to go by myself. And Ducky is there for her.
I know he is. And that says a lot because she had treated him like crap. Him like crap. So the other thing is from like the very beginning of this movie, they're building up prom. Like her dad.
Oh, yeah.
Her relationship with her dad is interesting. So he's like a single dad. Her mom left them years ago.
The mom left him.
And he just does part-time work. And she's always trying to like, here's your breakfast and go to this.
She takes care of him.
She takes care of him.
Right.
And so, you know, and he asked her, what's going on with prom? Has anybody asked you? And she's like, no, that's okay. What's the big deal anyway? So the whole time there is this sense like she wants to go to prom. It's a big deal. She's going to go with Blaine, but he has somebody else. Like, yeah, right. And he's there for her. He shows up for his friend, even though she's been treating him like crap.
Yes. Now, can I say this? Okay, couple things. When they come to prom and Ducky sees her and she sees Ducky and she kind of like runs to him and he's like, you're stunning. Okay, she wasn't stunning. That dress, that pink dress, she took a dress her dad gave and a dress her friend gave and kind of put them together and made a dress. And
it was terrible. Terrible. As someone who has taken two dresses, one from 1975 and one from 1984, and put them together, she should have. That was.
It was not good. And then she does this like choker. Yeah. No.
Oh, I guess I should put a choker here. It didn't even fit her.
No.
I mean, she was pretty. Yeah. She's a pretty girl, but the outfit was hideous.
Hideous. Yes. And then Ducky does this thing with his feet. He says, but I'm still the duck man. And he does this and he goes like, boop, 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 boop. Do you remember that? Like that? Yeah, I don't know why I remember
like
that.
Dance.
Yeah.
He has those shoes on. He has his like weird shoes that he wears all the time. So
And
he looks good.
and he's wearing this weird tie thing. What, I don't even know. It wasn't a regular bow tie. It was
No, it's one of those that from like the Southwest. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, like Texas. Sorry, but
Moving
anyway.
right along.
Yeah.
So
So then this is another thing that gets me. Blaine sees her and he's like moping at his table and he's like, oh, and he realizes, that's when he realized Steph, his supposedly best friend, has always liked Andy and she never gave him the time of day. And Blaine goes
Steph
up
was
to
a big
her.
reason why he was like encouraging his best friend Blaine not to be with her.
Right.
Now we know why, because Steph actually liked her.
He really likes her. And Blaine goes up to Andy and he gives this long speech about, I always believed in you. You just didn't believe in me. Whatever. And then he kisses her and he says, I'll love you always. Look, listen. You've known her for what?
Okay, high schooler.
2 months?
Not even.
I mean, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No. I mean, I know you got to speed it up because you only have an hour and a half for the movie.
Right.
We got to have some feeling that.
And then, she runs out after him, and then they kiss, and it's a happy ending. Because if I like it, y'all, it's a happy ending. Rarely do I like something with a bad ending.
What else makes it a happy ending is Ducky tells her. So Blaine comes over and he talks to her, and then he walks off after he says that he'll always love her, whatever. And she's just standing there, and Ducky says to her, he says, look, he came here alone after all. Like, he came here for you. Like, he's alone. He didn't bring a date. And so she decides, like, she's like, okay. And like, I think she gives Ducky a kiss on the cheek and is like, thanks. Like, you know, whatever, for supporting.
She was really nice to Ducky.
Liked Blaine either for the most
right.
So this is kind of like, okay, I'm accepting this guy. If you want to date him, like, he's a good guy after all. And so she goes off and Ducky's just standing there, and this hot girl, and oh my gosh, their dresses at this prom are amazing. 80s.
Oh, y'all, they're such 80s dresses.
The sleeves and
the color, the sleeves.
So she kind of looks at him and is like eyeing him, and Ducky goes over and ends up with no other person but
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Look at Ducky.
Not the TV show.
Yeah, from the movie, not the TV show. Not Sarah Jessica Parker. Not Sarah Michelle. Whatever.
Sarah Michelle.
Yeah.
So you can't get much better than that.
Good job, Ducky. I
mean, Ducky really upgraded there. Sorry, Molly Ringwell, but
I think it's a win for him. It's a win for everybody.
Yes. This might be our next 30-minute movie. Pretty in Pink. It is not my favorite. Molly Ringwell. I think she's kind of whiny. Like, when they go on their date, whenever one date they go on, he's gonna bring her home, and she's just drop me off here. And he's like, no, I'll take you home. Like, you know, where is it? Where's your house? And she's like, no, just drop me off here at the store, like where she works at the record store, or, you know, whatever. And he's like, no, I can give you a ride. And she's like, I don't want you to take me home. And he's like, whoa. And he's like, what's going on?
Outburst.
Like, I don't want you to see where I live. And I'm like, whoa.
And that's just awkward for everyone.
Yes.
It's got to be awkward for her. Now it's awkward for him. Just lie and say, I live here. Drop me off.
So the issue here with like the rich guy and poor girl, like, yes, he doesn't know how to like bring her into his circle, but it's also her issues with the fact that he's rich.
Yeah. It's for sure. And he tries at one date. And she's just like, no. And I'm like, come on, give him a chance. I'd give him a chance.
There you go.
Whatever.
So
Andrew,
anyway,
what you doing?
So it's not my favorite Molly Ringwald, but it is good.
It's my favorite Molly Ringwald.
And there's so many outfit changes for you to look at and be shocked by. And
the best friend, Annie Potts, she is constantly changing. Like, everything.
Talk about Annie Potts is in this.
Yes.
She's so young. I always think of her, because before, I just watched part of this recently, and I used to think that she was like, oh, this like middle-aged woman that worked at the record store where Wild works.
Yeah.
But then this time I watched it, I'm like, no, she's like 25. Like, she's young, I think.
I think she's not in high school with the others. I think she's like the manager of the record store. I don't know if she's the owner.
Yeah, but I don't think she's supposed to be like anything over 30. She's pretty young.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah.
And it's fun to see her in such a young role because I don't remember her before like Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, right. Yeah. She changes so much, not just obviously her clothes, but her hair. It's blonde, it's spiky, it's short. So if you've never seen this, slap yourself and then go watch it because it's so good.
This has the most 80s hair, clothes between Molly Ringwald, Annie Potts, and then the other kids in the high school. They just do great work with it. I mean, all the girls look like they're like 35 to me because of their outdated clothes and their hairstyles. I'm like,
it's so
did
good.
Anybody wear their hair like that? Oh yeah, they did in high school. It wasn't just my mom when I was that age. So
right.
Yeah. Okay, we gotta move on. We gotta get going.
So okay.
And the next that's the big one.
The next one. Oh yeah, and another big one. This is everyone should see this. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes. Now, we can't go into the whole plot. We'll just sum it up real quick.
So Ferris, played by Matthew Broderick, and that's pretty much the other really big popular name is Jeannie, who's his sister, played by
Jennifer Grey,
who was on Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
And Charlie Sheen makes a cameo at the end, really funny. But this movie, Ferris just wants a day off of school. He's a senior, I think, and he just calls in. He gets his best friend, Cam, who has issues. This movie kind of works through Cam's issues about his dad and his health and his life. And then he gets his girlfriend, Sloane, and they go to the big city of Chicago and just have a great day. They go to a Cubs game. They go to a fancy restaurant where they almost run into his dad. He does this whole big parade scene where they sing
Twist and Shout.
Twist and Shout. It's just and the whole time he's hopping from one thing to another, the Principal Rooney, is trying to catch Ferris because he knows he's just skipping. And it's a funny movie. If you've never seen it, you should obviously see this movie because I think this is kind of what started Matthew Broderick's career, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
For sure. So it's he's just playing hooky and just having a great day with his friends. His
he has a good day.
Him also at first because she is like he gets away with everything, and I have to like be in school and be the good girl. And so
his sister's kind of a Karen.
She is, but I really like Jennifer Grey in this.
Oh, I totally liked her. Actually, it was on the other night, and my brother and mom said, Angela, you kind of remind us of her, like how she gets mad and her when she's trying to catch the principal in the house, and which maybe since I said she's a Karen, I don't think that's a good thing now, but.
Now in our podcast, you're calling yourself a Karen. I don't even have to do it anymore. You just say it about yourself. There you go. At least you're honest. Okay. So
hold on, I do want to say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you know the teacher in this movie is Ben Stein?
Yes. Yes, which is a very quoted part. Bueller.
Yes.
Bueller.
Yeah. Bueller. Anyone? That's a really kind of another cameo, but it's really funny.
Yes. So this is, I think, an iconic 80s movie, and I think for good
reason. Sure.
It's super fun. There's not a lot of character development. I don't think Ferris changes over the course of the movie and understands life better, is a better person. No. He got away with it. That's about it.
Actually, I think the next week he probably skips again.
His sister she changes a little bit. She kind of is like, you know what, I'm going to not worry about him so much and lighten up fun in my life because she runs into Charlie Sheen, which, I mean, anybody would lighten up if they run into Charlie Sheen. So that's a fun cameo for him, I think.
You know what also is weird? The girlfriend Sloane, who's a year younger than him, so she's a junior. She's like, at one point in the movie, she's like, I'm going to marry him.
Yeah.
I'm like, please. I
mean, she probably thinks that.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't happen. Sarah Jessica Parker married him.
That's true. We know who he married, and he's still married
Yeah.
to her. They're still married.
It's not you, Sloan.
I think they're still married.
Yeah, they are. They
Okay.
got a couple of kids.
Okay.
All right. So anything else about Ferris Bueller?
No. 1987. Some kind
1987.
of Wonderful. Now, this movie I can get behind the story. We have two best friends. The main character, who's a guy, don't know his actor. What's the actor's name?
Eric Stoltz.
Okay, don't know. Okay, and
Mary Stuart Masterson.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I know her.
So the two of them are best friends, and he crushes on
Leah Thompson.
And he's been crushing on her like all of high school.
I like that crushing.
She
Very
is
nice.
like everything, and of course, that's a huge theme in high school movies. Is like, oh, I'm in love with this person, even though I'm talking.
Yeah.
And she's very popular, but she's still a really like good person and very sweet, which is a nice thing to see because sometimes they make it like, oh, I'm crushing, and then I find out they're total butthole.
Right.
My 80s words.
So I know. Crushing butthole.
So anyway,
I'm waiting for Rad any minute.
I'll try and get there. So they're best friends, but she's kind of a tomboy and always has been. But they get along. They talk about everything. He is crushing on Leah Thompson the whole time. Finally gets up to the nerve, and his best friend's coaching him. Like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to ask her out. This is how you need to treat her. This is what you need to do. So he finally gets up the nerve. He asks her out. He's going to take her on a date. And in the middle of all this, what's
best friend Mary Stuart Masterson?
Yes. She is kind of realizing like she has feelings for him.
I like you. Yeah.
And he doesn't see her that way at all.
No.
He sees her as a tomboy and a friend. He's like,
she's in the friend zone.
Yeah. Why are you acting this way? And so he ends up taking Leah Thompson out on a date. And during that time realizes, oh, I actually should be with my best friend.
Yes.
And so he doesn't see her anymore, and he goes to his best friend and is like, it's you, it's always been you, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what they say because I haven't seen this movie that many times. Is this realistic? Probably not. I don't think that guys all of a sudden like wake up and are like, oh, this girl that, especially high school guys, I've been around this girl for like years, and all of a sudden, oh, I might have feelings for her.
Yeah, well, I don't think so.
I don't think that men operate that way. I don't think women do, but I think they might a little bit more than men do.
Right.
So anyway, but
and I didn't see
he did in this movie. So win-win, they all end up happy because he's like a tomboy, but she gets him and he likes her.
Yeah, they end up happy. It's not my favorite movie. I have seen this movie. I didn't see it a lot when I was younger because I really didn't care for Eric Stoltz. I'll be honest, he wasn't like, I didn't crush on him. So watching it, I think I once or twice, and that was it.
I think there's a look in the 80s of like, what, a hot guy or whatever. And I'm surprised.
He's it?
No, but I do think he's along that lines. Because look at what we just said with Pretty in Pink. The two popular cool guys have a certain look to them.
They have feathered hair.
They do have feathered hair. So does Eric Stoltz.
They have the same haircut. But Eric Stoltz, he just wasn't. He didn't.
I get it. We both like Jake Ryan more, okay?
But yeah.
No,
I like Blaine. Don't talk too bad about Blaine. Don't squint your nose. I like Blaine, but Jake Ryan is much hotter. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. So that's it. And then 1987, we have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. What do you think about that?
It was my dad liked this movie, John Candy and Steve Martin. I probably only watched it with my dad, and that's all I got to say about that.
My dad also likes this movie.
Oh, our dads have good taste.
There you go. But my dad he's a big fan of Steve Martin.
Okay. I think my dad,
so I feel like that kind of lends himself to it. John Candy for me was never like my favorite. I would say I like Steve Martin more. The two of them together are kind of like, okay, so storyline, they get thrown together. They've got to get across the United States. And they end up traveling together because they have no other option. They were strangers when they met. Their personalities are exact opposite. And so they've got it. So again, mishap after mishap after mishap. But by the end of it, they have an appreciation for each other, even though they wanted to kill each other for the last like 48 hours while they're shopping together.
John Candy is in quite a few. I don't know if it's just John Hughes movies that he's been in, and we'll name some more, or he was just so big and popular that, you know, he was in just a ton of 80s movies overall.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, people. Sorry.
Okay, so that's Plain Train.
All right.
Real. It is
Good job.
It's a comedy. It's funny. Yeah. Okay. Some 1988, She's Having a Baby. I've never seen it. Angela.
Oh, okay. So I watched this a couple times. I don't know why I watched it. I probably shouldn't have watched it. Kevin Bacon is in it, and he's married to a girl named Christy. Her name is Elizabeth McGovern. Sorry, I didn't, because I don't know her in anything else, but everyone knows Kevin Bacon.
We got 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And all I know is they're married, but he sees his best friend, who's played by Alec Baldwin. Did you know he was in this movie? And Alec Baldwin's character is kind of sleazy. That's all I got to say about his character, just sleazy. But Kevin Bacon is like, oh, he's living the great life. I want to be single again. And then she ends up wanting to get pregnant. They go to fertility, blah, blah, blah. It ends happy. I'm not going to watch it like a movie if it doesn't end happy.
Okay.
That's it.
1988, okay. The Great Outdoors. Comedy.
Oh, this is funny.
Families thrown together, have their
John Candy again. And Dan Aykroyd so John Candy, his family's kind of normal, middle class. Dan Aykroyd, his family with wife
Karens.
And twin daughters.
Yes.
All Karens, exactly. And one of the big scenes in this movie for me, John Candy, they go to this restaurant and he does this competition, like eat the whole steak. Mm-hmm. Do you remember this scene? And the guy, so he eats this huge steak and he's like, okay, I'm done. And the guy said, no, you have to eat the whole thing, including the fat. And I'm like, ugh. And everyone else is like, ugh. And he does. And he's like, ugh, when he's done.
So did that noise 3 times. Okay, next one. On to Uncle Buck, 1989. We got more John Candy. He is hot right now.
Yeah, so I told you. I don't know if it's just...
He is just kind of a screwball uncle. They're all like, Uncle Buck, whenever he comes, like rolling their eyes at him. But, you know, he's fun-loving. And in the end, they have an appreciation for him that they did not have in the beginning because they just thought he was just like off-the-wall uncle.
Oh, and I think Macaulay Culkin's one of the kids in this, right?
Sure. Okay, and the last one. We have 1989, National Lampoon's Christmas, which has to be my favorite National Lampoon's.
Mine too, for sure. This is, again, all the Griswolds, and then you have Uncle, you have, you know, like I said, all of them. Then you have Aunt Bethany, Uncle Lewis come in. You have Margot and Todd, the neighbors. Very quotable. Yeah. This is, I mean, there's so many quotes in this movie. This movie is a Christmas movie. I have to see it every Christmas, but it's also played during the year. Mm-hmm. Like it'll just be on TV and I'm like, oh, it's on. So I'll sit and watch it even though I own it. And it's it's a great movie. If you've never seen it, Aunt Bethany's hilarious. When they ask her to say the blessing, she's like, no. And they're like, yeah, say grace. No. And they say, you know, say grace. And she says, Grace died. And her husband says, the blessing. And she goes, oh. And she does the Pledge of Allegiance. I mean, it's so funny. It's great.
Okay, so your favorite National Lampoon set?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right, so we're done with our list. So we need to quickly go over our top 3 or 4 out of all of them we just named. And then we had to say 1 or 2 that you should see if you have not seen. What would it be? Okay, you go ahead first. Top 3 or 4 favorite.
Top 3. Number 1 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I love it. I quote it. It's a thing. I bought my brother the mug that Cousin Eddie drinks out of, the moose mug. I love this movie. Number 2 is Pretty in Pink. Don't say anything, Betsy. And number 3 is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because it also reminds me of my dad. He introduced me to that movie. It's kind of a nostalgic for me too, with sitting around with my family. And it's just a fun movie. So if you haven't seen any of those, for sure, go see them. Now, if you don't like them, don't tell me, but just go see them.
You can tell me. All right. I am going to say.
What are your top 3?
My number 1 is The Breakfast Club.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to put Ferris Bueller as number 2.
Okay. It made your list. So people, if it made both of our lists.
Yes. And number 3, you're not going to like this, but I'm going to put 16 Candles as number 3.
I knew you were going to put 16 Candles. Well, 16, is that because Jake Ryan?
Well, yeah, it's all because no, I don't think that actor is actually a very good actor.
Oh.
He's really cute.
He's just good looking.
He's just good looking, yeah. And his character isn't that great either.
I think she realizes, he's just good looking.
16 Candles is also very, very quotable. But I would like to say, the thing I like about it is Molly Ringwald's character as playing a girl who's turning 16 is very believable. She looks like a 16-year-old. She acts like a 16-year-old. Like, this could have been me in high school. Like, this is exactly how I would have acted in these situations. Like,
who would be Jake Ryan for you in high school?
There was no Jake Ryan at our high school. Let's be honest. You get out the yearbook, you're going to see there's nobody like Jake Ryan in our high school. God, you kidding me?
There wasn't.
No Jake Ryans in our high school.
Sorry.
Okay, and so, yeah, if you haven't seen those, you should see them.
For sure.
One, is there any other ones I'd say you should see? Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, those are our top. And that's our John Hughes 80s. Now, we're going to do another 80s one later with some more, because there's so many 80s movies. But we just wanted to kind of start the 80s now.
Yes.
Okay, so thank y'all. Drop some comments. Let us know what you think.
Have a totally tubular night.
Oh, look at you. So rad.
I am so rad.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.